In the last decade alone, 30,000 people from terror-sponsoring countries have been granted legal permanent resident status into the United States through the visa lottery program, which awards these visas based purely on pure luck. Here to discuss now is Zuhdi Jasser, American Islamic Forum for Democracy president and former U.S. Navy lieutenant commander, along with Kristen Whiten, former State Department senior advisor under President Trump, currently Center for National Interest senior fellow. Christopher, let me start with you. You just recently worked with the State Department. A lot of people didn't even know about this program until, of course, a more recent terror incident here in New York City. And now people are appalled that so many folks are just allowed to come into the country just on a lottery system.
Right. It's a pretty shocking program, and some 30,000 people have come from nations that are considered terrorist risks since 2007, and the alleged terrorists in New York recently, who immigrated from Uzbekistan, got in on one of these visas and has brought a number of family members in. And it just goes to, what's wrong with immigration in Washington. First of all, this was passed. It was proposed by Charles Schumer, signed by Bush 41. Really, an indication of how we've been let down by both sides of our political class. And instead of screening people based on their skills, what they can bring to this country, why they're coming, we're just letting people in randomly. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Also, just by choosing people based on nationality rather than other factors. I mean, we don't even screen people based on whether they're susceptible or whether they're inclined to be Islamist, to subscribe to political Islam. So, right. Another indication we're screening people for the wrong things.
Yeah, Zuhdi, apparently the program was conceived because there were a lack of Irish folks in Schumer's district. And so they say, whatever 5 or 6 countries didn't have a lot of immigrants last year, well, the last 5 years, we'll bump them up and just put the names in a pot. And of course, this particular program has been abused, and a lot of folks who want to come to this country and do us harm from those terror-sponsored nations, they actually know how to game the system, don't they?
Oh, absolutely, Charles. And it should be, it's embarrassing that it took this kind of an attack from a radical Islamist for us to realize that we have changed what it meant to be American into being some type of identity, racial, nationality-based definition rather than our city on a hill that should be based on an ideology which is freedom, liberty, and anti-theocracy. And my family were here on political asylum. It took them a while to get approved. It was a meritocracy based in the late 60s when they escaped Syria. That's what it should mean to come to America. But unfortunately, this lottery program is playing Russian roulette with our security, because people can come in not based on embracing our social contract as Americans, but they could be Islamists, they could be jihadists, they could be Russian autocrats, Chinese communists. All these types of ideologies that threaten us would end up coming into the United States without any type of vetting. So I hope not only that we end this program, but we begin a rigorous vetting against ideologies and begin to embrace Muslims that can help us figure out who the Islamists are and who those who share our values are.
Christian, on that notion, a merit-based system, not unlike what Canada implemented a couple of years ago, why is there so much pushback on it, and will it eventually become a reality under President Trump?
Right, well, the optimistic reason why there's pushback is just the usual lethargy in Washington where nothing gets done. The more pessimistic one is that people have used this type of immigration to socially engineer America, something Zuhdi just mentioned part of this, and it of course accrues votes for one political party over the other. But really, especially in light of what happened in New York, if we can't fix this, God, I don't know what we can fix.
Yeah, I hope so. There's some things that are, in my mind at least, easy for us to unite around, and this is certainly one of them. Gentlemen, you two are two of my favorite, and I appreciate you coming on tonight. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Hey, we appreciate you home as well. Now here's Lou Dobbs. Keep it on Fox Business.